you've always loved me, but sometimes you didn't know how to show me that love.
Yeah. I think I got a lot to say about that. So first and foremost, I think it's extremely important that in a relationship, you grow to understand your partner's love language, and you show an appreciation for that love language, and you love your partner the way they want to be loved. You know what I mean? And I think at that time in our relationship, we were only 2 years in, 2.5 years in, going on 3 years into our relationship, right? 2019, we got together in 27.
Two.
Yeah,
That's 2 years.
2 years. So we got together in 2017. So we were still fresh into our relationship, 2 years. And we were like, we were living together, right? Um, so having those uncomfortable conversations.
We got together in 2018. You keep saying 2017. We
Well,
knew each other in 2017.
We started talking in 2017 at the end of 2017.
No.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
So we'll just say 2018, no problem. So a year and a half, 2 years.
Because you was
right?
playing in 2017, so I'm like,
okay. So 2018, 2019. Okay, so that time frame, we were still fresh in our relationship. So we hadn't yet had those uncomfortable conversations, or we hadn't yet established each other's boundaries or expectations verbally, right? We may have like had an idea of what each other wanted or didn't want, but we hadn't yet talked about it or vocalized that. So for me, being a child at that time mentally and not fully being a man, just kind of going with the flow and doing what I thought was right as opposed to doing what was required of me, which is to love my wife the way she wants to be loved, right? The Bible tells us to love our wives as husbands, right? It tells us to love our wives, okay? It doesn't say if you feel like it, right? It ain't necessarily a feeling. It's like this is what we have to do, right? It says love your wife. And if your wife has certain requirements of how she wants to be loved, then I think as that husband, you should love your wife the way she wants to be loved.
Yeah.
Right. So that being said, yeah, doing the bare minimum when it came to buying gifts or any type of celebratory event, like doing the bare minimum because I didn't see value in those things. That's why I did it. It wasn't because I didn't see value in my wife. I saw value in my wife, but I didn't see value in the things that my wife valued.
Yeah.
Which was selfish, right? It's like I was just thinking about me and my values and what I thought was important. It ain't just about you, right? It's about you. Like you are supposed to become one flesh with another individual, with your wife or with your husband. You're supposed to become one flesh, and how you guys do that is by you being strong in the area where your partner is weak and your partner being strong in the area where you are weak, right? You guys playing off of each other's strengths and weaknesses, right? So I was weak in an area when it came to loving people the way they wanted to be loved, right? My wife's love language is acts of kindness, right? It's quality time. My love language is affection, right? It's physical touch and quality time as well. Like that's my love language. So that's where I place the value in, that's why I placed the value in the love that I shown was me, hugging on you and kissing you all day. You should know that I love you a lot, right? Or me, us watching a movie or something like that. Like you should know that I love you because I'm taking some time to hug on you, rub on you, kiss on you, and we watch a movie, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to a holiday coming around or a birthday coming around, and I'm doing the bare minimum, right? I'm not buying, and it's not the gifts. It's just it's the thought of providing a need that that hasn't been expressed.
Yeah.
Right? Like my wife said, she's running out of soap and I go to the store and I buy her the soap that she's running out of, right? Without her having to say it because I'm paying attention to her needs. Yeah. Right? Minister Louis Farrakhan, shout out to Minister Louis Farrakhan. He says that love is fulfilling a need. This is his definition, okay? I partially agree with it. He says love is fulfilling a need before the individual has to explain what that need is, right? That's true love. True love is fulfilling a need before the individual has to explain what that need is. Okay? So that's what it is being in a marriage or being in a relationship. Is you say you love that individual, well, fulfill a need that individual has yet to express to you, or maybe that individual doesn't even know that they need yet. Fill that need, right? So yeah, that's that's what I have to say about that.
Yeah.
Did you have any specific questions to ask about?
I was gonna say, like, what did that look like for us? So I'm like, everybody like see us as this perfect patty couple type thing, which like we are happy. We've come a long, long way, but like,
I ain't like the way you said that.
What?
We are happy. It's like yeah, we are happy, but
no, it's just like we are happy. Like I'm saying, like we are happy. Like that's so hard for some people to believe. Like when somebody come and say like, oh, it looks like y'all happy, and it look like y'all so happy, and just y'all just have fun, and y'all just love each other so much. And I'm like, well, I will hope it looks like that, because that's what it is. Like,
yeah, right.
We are happy.
If it look like something else, then something ain't right.
Yeah.
Well, but there's people that do look happy in a relationship, but they're miserable.
That's literally couples now. That's like the social media phase of y'all so in love, y'all so this, and then the next minute y'all broken up, y'all cheating on each other, y'all just doing just everything that does not display love, which is why our generation or generations, all y'all go through it. Everybody goes through it. I feel like that experience like toxic relationships or just like relationships that aren't beneficial. So like people saying they happy and portraying this lifestyle that they're a certain way that they're actually not. So I feel like when people come across like a breath of fresh air, I feel like our relationship, they kind of like make it to where like, oh my gosh, like I want what y'all got, and I'm trying to work my way up, and me and my partner I'm like, if y'all really want to do it, like it'll happen. The reason why we are where we are right now is because we chose to ultimately get over ourselves, because that's all right there. That's really all it is when you're in a relationship. Like people feel like, oh, I'm in this relationship and y'all ain't never had no type of just like hardship. I feel like y'all have a mediocre type of relationship, which means is y'all either compromising on stuff y'all don't really want to compromise on, and it's slowly killing you, which is like that couple would be like, oh no, they never argued, or I never heard them say anything bad about each other, and then 30 years down the line they just out of nowhere get a divorce, and like all of their like close community is completely shocked because they were just putting on this front like, oh, we're just dealing with each other, and we didn't want that. And it's the fact that during that time I felt like it was so much pushback far as us working on each other separately. Like I didn't see you doing that work in front of me, and you didn't see the work that I was doing like when you weren't home. And it was vice versa. I felt like it was kind of like secretive in a way, like, well, like I am listening to what he says, and like what he said about this, like that's a valid point. But at that time I felt like it was just filled with like a bunch of frustration. Cause like I would say like during COVID time, like what was your mindset then, and like how did you feel like about our relationship and everything like that? So I feel like that was like a tough stage for us. Not necessarily 2019, but I would say maybe like 2020. Yeah, 2020. Well, 2019 and 2020.
Yeah. I think it was challenging because there was a lot of emotional what's the word? What's a good word to use? There was a lot of,
just say it and then we can find
I'm trying to find the word so I can say it.
Oh.
There was a lot going on in terms of you having to
emotional vomit.
No, not that. You having to make this transition from becoming a independent woman to still being an independent woman, but now you have somebody depending on you, and you having to depend on me because you are no longer working. Right? So that transition right there for you was a lot emotionally, and in turn created a lot of emotional roller coaster in the household, right? So if you're not necessarily in the right emotional state, and then I'm coming home and I'm having to try to reconcile or try to, I guess, try to understand without really understanding,
Yeah.
like where you are in your emotional state and what you're going through. Like it doesn't matter how much you could explain that to me. I could never understand because I didn't experience what you experienced. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Physically or emotionally, like I didn't experience that. Like my life was still the same as far as me getting up and doing what it is that I need to do. Your life got flipped upside down.
Yeah.
Like you are now a mom. So like that whole identity that you had before being a mom, it's like
Oh.
that had to be, yeah, like that had to take a back seat.
Yeah.
And you had to take on this new identity, which is very unfamiliar to you,
Yeah.
that you didn't really have proper guidance in from anybody. I mean, you had people here and there, but like really somebody in your corner, like guiding you on how to do this thing called being a mother, and being a successful mom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's a challenge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I didn't understand where you were coming from, and I didn't know that you went through postpartum depression. I say we, okay, because I was there. Okay, I was in the midst of it. So we went through postpartum depression during that time frame. We didn't know that's what it was until we got out of it, and then we look back and we like, oh, like that was postpartum depression.
Yeah.
Like the emotional state that you were in, and then me out of frustration responding in a certain way, or maybe not even responding. You know what I mean? Still
Yeah.
in love though. Like we never lost love for one another. I never lost an appreciation for my wife and what she did, and I never called her out of her name. I never disrespected her in that way. Like it was
Oh yeah,
never.
baby, ain't none of that
It was
going on.
never that. It was never that. It was nothing but love.
Yeah.
It was just. It was just our approach was more so out of frustration. Like everything that we did in that time frame was like out of frustration,
Yeah.
because of just the emotional turbulence that was brewing up, during that time. Like it's a really challenging thing to deal with, um, taking on the responsibility of being a parent, especially for a mom. You know what I mean? Like as a father, as a dad, it's different because your life isn't as dramatically affected as it is becoming a mom. Like becoming a mom is that's a whole different level.
Yeah.
So although I still don't fully understand it because I didn't experience it, looking back on it now, I'm like, damn, like yeah, like we got over a serious hump during that time frame. And not only that, I'll put on top of this because I don't think this is talked about enough. Like not having money is the root of all evil. Okay, they say the love of money is the root of all evil. I agree with that as well. The love of money is the root of all evil.
Yeah.
But not having money is right up there. Okay, when you don't, and we had money, right? We were able to pay our bills. We wasn't on the street. Okay, like we was handling our business. We was doing we ate every day. Okay, so we had money. We wasn't poor,
Yeah.
but we didn't have the leisure money to do the things that we would like to do and to give each other the freedom or the access to other resources that we would have liked at that time in our relationship.
Yeah.
Because again, my wife stopped working, so we went from one income to two. That means from two incomes to one income, and then I wasn't working as much. Neither was I making as much money because a lot of my seeds that I was planting wasn't bringing forth any fruit at that time.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it just wasn't. Right? It was just in the sowing phase, and no fruit was coming about. So yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah.
Man, it was a lot.
And just having like that's why I be telling. Well, I try to just like speak and tell like any mom, like if you're working and you're able to still work, do that. You know, the reason why I stopped working is because I was sick with no I was really sick with all of them. But like with no O's, really, really bad because it's like it's your first child. So it's like, am I dying? Like, am I okay? Like it was a bunch of questions. I was just like, just exhausted. I couldn't work. So going from that and then just like having to depend on you for everything, like even though I had like a little money from like leaving Publix and like what I had in my savings, like that was used like before I even had her. So like
Mm-hmm.
me having to solely depend on you to like, you know, bring in the income and
Mm-hmm.
then like still like try to be like this good, perfect wife and like, okay, be grateful that your husband is taking care of you. Not every woman has a man to take care of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, okay, like in the midst of like me holding my tongue and like us like avoiding certain conversations that we knew we should have had because
Mm-hmm.
like we didn't have like financial conversations
Mm-hmm.
in regards to like, okay, like the money for how much is rent, how much is like all the necessities in the house, how much do we, you know, use for out like utility things and
Mm-hmm.
like we never had that serious conversation as far as finances. Kind of
Yeah.
just like, you're my man, I know you're my husband, we're building a family together,
Mm-hmm.
I trust you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something where I go to where it's like I didn't have that guidance from a woman perspective or just a wife, like just I just didn't have this boss wife or mom example to show me that like, yes, you trust your man, yes, you're like you trust your man to lead you,
Mm-hmm.
but you are your like you are your husband's wife for a reason. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's certain things that you can discern and see that he may not be able to see, or there's certain things that like you need to, okay, you have experience in this, or like just God is speaking through you or like using you. Okay, like let's not put our money over there, let's put it over here, let's do it like this. Well, no, let's, you know, actually flowing together as a unit.
Mm-hmm.
It was very much so like you were functioning as a like as our unit,
Yeah.
and me just like kind of just like turning a blind eye because I didn't want to have the tough conversation. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to make you feel less than.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to I didn't want to like hurt your pride in the
Yeah.
midst of that. And in the midst of me being quiet and us not having those conversations, we lacked a lot, you
Yeah.
know, during that phase. Like we did certain things to like just make our ego feel good when we
Mm-hmm.
didn't have it necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was so much that happened in that time frame. It was just a build up, not being
Yeah.
able to, you know, just do what I was doing before. I have a sense of independence or like helping you. And then even when we got to the point to where it's just like, okay, you know, you have a different job and you're making enough money.
Mm-hmm.
Am I okay with that?
Yeah.
Like, is that something that I truly want? No, I actually enjoy working.
Yeah.
Although I know that you could provide and that you could do all of this, why, as your helpmate, would I want you to do that alone?
Yeah.
You know, so for me, it was just like trying to navigate and learn what exactly it was that I was supposed to be doing as a wife because
Yeah.
I was just as lost and confused as you was,
Mm-hmm.
you know? But it
Yeah. I
was
think.
hard just communicating and like, you know, we freshly in love. So it's like, I don't want to like make you like, I don't want to belittle
I ain't trying
you.
to ruffle no feathers
Yeah, I
here.
don't want to try to ruffle no feathers. I don't want to make you feel that way. But like, how do I say like I'm drowning and not make you feel like you're the one that's like holding my head
Holding you
down?
down. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like how do you tell that? Like, cause you're gonna have to like
You gotta have a tough
I gotta
conversation.
dip you in this water with me a little bit because like I got a lot going on and I don't know how to process it, but I don't
Yeah.
want to lose, you know, the person that I love because it's a ego thing or like I'm scared. I don't want to have this conversation with you. Like,
Man, I think mentorship, guidance, um, having people in your circle, having a community, right? Or a village, as they say.
mm-hmm.
Man, it's so important. And I think
Yeah,
we're like the generation that we are a part of now. Unfortunately, we are losing community. Like we're losing those people, those old heads, right? Or those those grannies that would be in our ear, or aunts, whoever it may be, that would be in our ear, letting us know, giving us sound counsel about how we should go about doing things, and
yeah,
and the proper way to build a family or establish a foundation or to have uncomfortable conversations. Like, it's so difficult to navigate in this world without having guidance.
mm-hmm.
You know, yes, we have the Word of God, but the Word of God is discerned in spirit, right? And if you're not spiritually aligned and you're just reading it just like it's a regular book, then you're not going to get the proper interpretation or the proper understanding of what you should be doing,
Yeah,
right? Because the world that we're living in, I mean, this is a spiritual world, right? everything that we see is a manifestation of the invisible things. And the invisible world is really the reality, right?
Yeah.
The physical world is just a manifestation of the invisible world. So it starts with spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And if you aren't spiritually discerning enough or spiritually aware enough, man, you're gonna have some demons that you gotta fight that you're not armored enough to deal with.
Yeah.
So what would you say kept us together through those very, very challenging times? I would say maybe 70, but maybe it's my ego talking, but probably 70%, if not more, of relationships kind of separate during that time frame.
Yeah.
Like when there's tension in the household, when the couples aren't necessarily having the uncomfortable conversations, when there's unsatisfied needs that aren't being met, when
Yeah.
there's postpartum depression in the midst of that, and there's a baby in the midst of that. Like I think a lot of couples don't really make it out of that phase and go to that next level of challenges together. What would you say allowed us to get out of that phase, and grow from it?
God.
Yeah.
Truthfully, God, because I don't know if you remember, but like that, like even like looking back, like especially the memories that pop up, like videos that I have of like me and Noel, like
Mm-hmm.
or just like around the house, I was worshiping. Like when you were gone, the I would be praying for hours, like crying out to God, like, why do I feel like this? Why like just like even journaling, like I'm gonna show you some of those, one day.
She got
Just
journal notes talking about me, y'all.
yeah,
Bad, real
because that's
bad.
how I process things. Because I rather write it out and be able to read and see my words than to just speak it to you.
Yeah.
Like sometimes, like what you're thinking, your thoughts are unclear.
Mm-hmm.
So to like kind of clear that, I that was the process. But I would say God, because like the way that I used to pray over you or just pray over our relationship, I will always say like, God, you tell me like if I'm not supposed to be doing this, like if this was not your will, like you let me know, like you show me a sign, this, that, and third, and he would do it every single time. You would come home and you'll just hug me, or you'll say like I'm grateful for you, or you'll say something that I had wrote in my book, like I feel like he doesn't appreciate me, and you'll
Mm-hmm.
come home and give me a hug and be like, I appreciate you. Like, and that's when we were staying in McDaniel, and I'm like, it's nothing but God. Like, even like during that phase, like God was working on you as well. And then like us being able to like come to each other, like at the end of every whatever we had, we always came to each other at the end of the night. Like at
Mm-hmm.
the end of the night, or like just a little bit after, like we both cooled down, like it was still love. It was
Mm-hmm.
just like attitude, like, oh, I know you need some tissue in the bathroom, so I'm just about to slap
Mm-hmm.
the tissue. Like it was
Mm-hmm.
just like, it was never like we were going through so bad to where I felt like you didn't love me.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was still love there. It's just like I could see the hurt in your eyes just as much as you could see the hurt in
Mm-hmm.
mine, because we're doing something that we didn't see. Like we're trying to navigate each other's feelings. And this is what I want to say too. You have to take into mind, we were between the ages of 23 and 25.
Mm-hmm.
And we had our own apartment. Like we both had our own cars. Like, and we were like pregnant with a child. Like people aren't doing that for real until they're in their 30s or 40s. Or those who are doing it around our age are still staying with their parents, like are still staying with people. So it's just like, I really just was like, we're not living this social media lifestyle that's been like put in our heads, or like that's been brought to, the limelight of just like, oh, I'm 23 and I'm balling. I'm
Yeah.
22 and I'm balling. Like that's not what it is. We've been trying to make a life for ourselves. So I feel like that was it. Us not giving up on each other, us choosing each other every single day,
Mm-hmm.
even though like sometimes we may have not felt like it. Like both of us wanting this to work. Like
Yeah.
I could have wanted this to work with everything in me. But if he didn't want it to work,
It wouldn't
if
work.
he wasn't changing, if he wasn't listening to me, we wouldn't be where we are now. Vice versa. If I couldn't listen to him and like reflect on what he says, or if I couldn't change my ways and humble myself, we wouldn't be in the position that we are in, because you both have to choose it.
Yeah, I think.
And listen to God. Like, not every relationship God is saying you need to hold on to. Oh, you got to wait it out with him. Y'all got to work this through. Because some people do come together and have that time to like grow as individuals and navigate every single thing and then have a family.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you think about it, most of the situations is you start that family, you begin to mix and try to figure it out all like how we did.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's so important. I agree with you that it was God that really kept us together.
Yeah.
During those challenging times. To be a little bit more specific and to make it more practical, I would say it was just simply a decision on both of our parts that we wanted the relationship to work.
Period.
You know what I mean? It's simply a decision. I said this in a previous episode of ours, that relationships don't work, people do. Okay, relationships don't work. Relationships is the agency. It's what we call the communing of one individual and another, right? That's what we call it. We give it a name, a relationship, right? But relationships in and of itself don't work. What works is the individuals that are in that relationship. Right. And if one person in the relationship wants it to work and the other person does it, it won't work. If both of those individuals in that relationship want that relationship to work, that relationship will work. It doesn't even matter if they're good for each other or not. The relationship will work if both of the individuals are of the same mind that they want the relationship to work. Right.
Now, how y'all make it work, that's also up to y'all as well.
It's up to y'all.
Are we staying together forever, but we toxic and you ain't going nowhere and you ain't... Okay. You choose to make it work and choose how it works. Because just because you decide to stay with somebody don't mean that y'all are making it work in the most healthiest and God ordained way.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's good. I want to leave off with another verse of scripture, you all. This is really, really good, but I think this is important because I don't think that a lot of us understand how important God is in relationships, right? And that God needs to be the center of all relationships. Now, if you all read your Bible at all, maybe you do, maybe you don't. If you don't, I'm going to read it if I can find it.
Where's yours?
I was just reading it this morning. It's in the book of Corinthians. All right, family. So I wanted to read this last verse of scripture before we end off. It's 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 3. And it reads, "But I want you to realize that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is man, and the head of Christ is God." Right? So this is the order of operation for every marriage, right? Every marriage, the order of operation is you got Christ, you got the man, and then you have the woman. Okay? So if Christ is not the head of your life, if you're not in submit, as a man, I'm speaking to men, as a man, if you're not under any authority, if you're not submitted to any authority greater than yourself, then there's no way you're going to have a woman, your woman, to submit to you and be willing to engage in a compromising sort of ordeal to make a relationship work. It's not going to happen. A woman is not going to submit to a man that isn't submitted. And if she does, it's only temporary. Right?
Well, if she does, that means she's not also like, she's not... Find it.
She's not of God.
She's not aligned with God.
Yeah. Yeah. True indeed.
A woman that allows a man to lead in a very like neglectful, not God ordained way, is not a woman. That is a girl who is trying to find womanhood, or a girl who doesn't know how to be a wife, which in a lot of cases that is the scenario.
Yeah.
But to have a man that is led by God, yeah, I got a man led by God.
That's me.
Yeah.
I'm led by the Father.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all.
All of that.
Y'all like, comment, subscribe,
Turn on your post
share.
notifications so you can be notified every single time that we post.
Do what my wife
And follow
said.
us on social media.
At SM0OV_ on Instagram. That's about all I have. That's my handle.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all follow me.
At Queen_Deja, DAJHA, and Life with Deja on TikTok.
That's it. We love y'all. Let love for your hearts, family.
Peace and blessings. Bye.